A very good afternoon to everyone, okay, to all the aspirants seeking admission in foreign countries, yes, and who are looking to go for their higher education, be it bachelor's, master's or even PhD. So today I am going to talk about the International English Language Testing System. In short, it is popularly known as the Ielts examination. So the Ielts examination is the world's #1 English language test or English proficiency test, okay. So in this Ielts examination, if you are able to clear the exam, then you are eligible to apply for admissions into foreign universities, be it for masters, bachelors or even for postdoctorate or doctorate courses. So this exam has got many different aspects, and we'll today talk about each and every one, okay, in a nutshell. So who administers Ielts, or who are the owners of Ielts? Yes, so Ielts is jointly owned by 3 companies. Number 1, it is the British Council. Secondly, we have the IDP, which is the International Development Program Ielts Australia, and the third is the Cambridge Assessment English. Yes, so you can mostly in India all the operations have been overtaken by IDP India. So when you want to book your slot for the examination, you have to book it through the IDP website. You need to create an account, then using your login user ID and password, you can book the test. Yes. Okay, so let us now discuss who can take the Ielts examination, who are eligible. So there are different types of Ielts examination, but we mostly focus on 2 types. The first type is called the academic module, which is for students who are looking to pursue higher education in foreign countries. The second one is called as the general training module, and this is for people who want to immigrate to other countries in search of employment or even permanent residency. Yes. So let us look at both of them. There are slight differences between the two, but mostly to a certain extent both are similar. So, and depending upon how you take your Ielts examination, again Ielts has been divided into 2 types based on the mode of the examination. The first is the pen and paper based test, where they give you a physical paper copy of the question paper as well as an answer sheet. You will also be given rough sheets and stationery to help you answer the questions. The second mode of examination is called the computer based test. In this test, you need to sit in front of a system and then give the test. So everything will be what? Digital and or electronic. Yes, but both the tests need to be taken at the test center, and it has to be an Ielts authorized test center, and Ielts is a lot of more than 900 test centers throughout India. Then let us go into the format of the examination. So basically, any language will have 4 skills: listening, reading, writing and speaking. The same is applicable for Ielts examination. So we have 4 modules of this test, that is listening, reading, writing and speaking. So basically, why do they want to check you for these skills of the English language? Because if you are belonging from any non-native English speaking country, for example India or Asia, we belong to a country wherein the first language is never English. So at best English is our second or third language. So to settle or to study in a country like US, UK, Australia or even New Zealand, yes, we need to appear for this Ielts proficiency test and clear the examination with good bands. That's why we are considered as non-native users of the English language, and hence we need to prove our skills when it comes to the English language test. Okay, so when you book your slot, first of all you will be able to book your slot for listening, reading and writing, which is conducted on the same shift on the same day, whereas speaking is mostly conducted on a different day. However, it can also be conducted on the same day. It all depends on the booking of the slot, whether the slots are available or not. You will come to know when you do the booking. Okay, let us discuss what are the differences between academic module versus the general training module. So for both the modules, listening and speaking skills are exactly the same. There will be no difference with regards to listening and speaking. But when it comes to reading and writing, there are slight differences, but there are similarities as well. So we'll talk about all of them in detail in the upcoming sections. Okay, let us first talk about listening. In listening, they will be giving you headphones and you need to listen to audio clips and answer the questions on the basis of those audio clips. So Listening is, the duration of this listening test is approximately 30 minutes and you need to listen to 4 recordings. There will be a total of 40 questions, yes. Once those 30 minutes are done, for a pen and paper based test, you are given 10 extra minutes to transfer your answers onto the answer sheet. Whereas, if you go for a computer based test, you are only given 2 extra minutes to select the answers on the computer screen, yes. Now, let us see how you will go about this module. So, there will be 4 sections of this, yes. So, the first one is a conversation between 2 people and it will be based on a general topic. So, you will hear 2 people speaking about any general topic. For example, a person may walk into a hotel for a reservation, yes. The second one, recording will be a speech. It will be a monologue, that is, you will hear only one person giving a lecture or a speech on any general topic, yes. The third one is a conversation between 2 to 4 people, minimum 2, maximum 4, but this time the setting will be based on academics. For example, a university professor and a student, they are discussing an assignment. The fourth one, the fourth part of the listening audio will be related to a university lecture. In this case, you will hear a professor giving a lecture on any academic topic. So, parts 3 and 4 are related to academics. So, what are the things that you need to, you need to be keeping in mind when it comes to the listening test? So, see, you will be hearing to the audio simultaneously and you need to be taking down notes because the audios will be played only once. Secondly, you will be, listening to accents of mostly 5 types. Number 1 is British, then we have American, Canadian, Australian, New Zealand, as well as a mix of other European countries. Most importantly, whatever you hear in the audio clips will not be exactly repeated in the questions word by word. It will be paraphrased with the help of synonyms. And lastly, sometimes they will trick you or confuse you into marking the wrong answers with the help of distractors. So students, you need to be wary of those distractors. Yes? Okay, let us look into the academic section of the reading module. Okay, so here you will be facing 3 passages and a total of 40 questions and you have 60 minutes to answer this. Now, the difficulty level of the passages as well as the word limit of the passages will keep on increasing as you go deeper into the module. For example, let us name the passages P1, P2, P3. So, P1, the first passage will be around 800 words with comparatively less difficult words in English, whereas the second one will be longer, say approximately 900 words with a slightly bit more tougher vocabulary, whereas the last one will be the lengthiest as well as it will contain the most complex language. Yes. Now, see, this is the most toughest module out of all the 4 modules in the IELTS, academic test, or whether it is academic or whether it is even general training. And we need to be following the rules and regulations very carefully. We need to apply proper strategies and most important is time management. Most students are not able to complete 40 questions in 60 minutes. So, we need to look into that. Yes. So, we will be applying a strategy called as skimming and scanning to crack these questions, which will be the same for both academic as well as general training. The next is, let us move on to the general training. So, what is the difference between the passages with regards to academic as well as general training? So, the similarity is the third passage will be the same for both academic module as well as the general training module, but the first 2 passages will be different. For the academic module, all the passages will be based on your studies or academics, whereas for general training module, the first 2 passages will be based on your work life or your overall life in the foreign country, in that particular foreign country where you wish to immigrate or take up the permanent residency. So, as compared to the academic reading, general training reading is much easier because the first 2 passages are also somewhat easier. The first 2 passages will be again broken down into 2 subparts. So totally you will be facing 4 passages in the first 2 passages. Okay. So let us move on to the writing section of the IELTS test. So when it comes to the academic module of the writing test, so we have 2 tasks in this. So the first task is what we call the report writing. In the report writing, you need to write a minimum of 150 words and you are allotted a maximum time of 20 minutes for this task. In this task, we have to convert some pictures or tables or statistical data into words. So there are different types of these questions, which can be flowcharts, maps, it can be plans or layouts, bar diagrams, pie charts, tables or line graph. The second task is what we call the essay writing. In the essay writing, you need to write a minimum of 250 words, and the total time for this task will be 40 minutes. In this case, they will give you a topic. Based on the topic, they will ask you to state your opinion, or they may ask you what are the advantages and disadvantages of a certain thing, what are the problems and solutions of this particular topic, or they may ask you causes and consequences of a particular issue. So they will be giving you two separate booklets and you need to answer the questions separately, and the total time will be 60 minutes. What is the difference between general training and academic module in terms of writing? The task 2, that is your essay, remains the same for both academic as well as general training, but there is a difference when it comes to task 1. For general training, the task 1 is a letter writing. Again, the rules are similar. Here also you need to write a minimum of 150 words and you are allotted a time of 20 minutes. But in this case, you need to write a letter corresponding to a given situation. So, for example, you are applying to a job and you need a letter of reference from one of your school teachers. So, hence you need to write a letter to one of your old teachers explaining the situation, why they need to write a letter in your reference. Okay, then let's move on to the speaking section. The speaking section has got 3 parts, part 1, part 2 and part 3, and the approximate time for this test is around 11 to 14 minutes. But including taking your biometrics, everything comes up around 20 minutes. So in the part 1, there are 2 sections. We call it as the introduction plus interview. In the introduction, the examiner is going to introduce themselves and they will ask basic questions to the candidate. For example, what is your name, where do you stay, what are you doing, what are your future plans. Then they will move on to the interview part. In the interview part, they will be asking simple questions like, what are your hobbies, do you like to eat outside or at home mostly, why not, and so on. So the topics will be based on some common things. You don't need to have any specialized knowledge, you just need to be having some sort of a basic idea about all the topics in general. The first part, that is your introduction, will not be calculated for your marking. Your marking will start from the interview round. The second part is what we call the cue card. In this case, the examiner will give you a written piece of paper which will have a topic. Along with the topic, there will be 4 bullet points. So it can be something like this. For example, describe a recent holiday that you took in your country. You should say what this holiday destination was, when and why you visited it, what are the things that you saw over there, and explain whether or not you enjoyed this tourist destination. So covering all these points, you have to speak continuously for 2 minutes without any interruption from the examiner. Yes. So before the examiner asks you to speak for 2 minutes, they will give you 1 minute of preparation time. In that 1 minute of preparation time, the examiner will give you a rough sheet of paper as well as a pencil. And you are supposed to take down some notes. But be mindful that you have to strictly stick to the time. 1 minute as well as 2 minutes. So 1 minute is for the preparation time, whereas 2 minutes is the speaking time. And candidates are not allowed to wear any wristwatch or a smartwatch. So this section is somewhat critical and we need to focus on this. The first part, when I come to the first part, that is your introduction as well as the interview, it is an oral round. The examiner will ask you 5-6 questions based on all different topics, and it is one-on-one. Okay. So let us move on to the third part of the speaking section, which we call it as a two-way discussion between the student as well as the examiner. In this case, the examiner will ask you certain follow-up questions which will be roughly related to the topic that you received in your cue card round. For example, I discussed the topic of the cue card as holiday destination. So the topics which will be followed up in this round will be somewhat related to holidays or tourism. For example, what are the most important tourist destinations in your country? Why do you think tourism is important? What are the benefits of international tourism? Do you think it is important to learn the language of the foreign country they are visiting? And so on. Again, this will be an oral round where they will ask you one-on-one questions. After one question, again the next question will be followed. And you need to give answers on one-on-one basis. Okay, so that brings us to the end of all the 4 modules. Now remember guys, this is one of the most or the most popular English language test in the whole world. And the difficulty level of this test has been recently raised. So we need a very good and thorough preparation before we attempt this test, because the fees of the examination is also quite high. It is around 17,150 rupees including taxes, and it takes certain time. When it comes to pen and paper based test, it takes around 15 days to get the results, but when it comes to computer based test, your results are available within 3 to 5 days. However, I would recommend students to go for paper based test, because you have time advantage when it comes to listening. You have 8 extra minutes, as well as you have certain more time when it comes to the reading section, because you don't need to scroll the pages up and down just like when you do it on a computer based test. Okay, so that brings us to the today's demo session on Ielts, and I convey my regards to everybody and hope that you will be seeing you will be joining with us very soon. Okay, thank you.
ఫ్రెండ్స్, ఇలాంటి ఇన్ఫర్మేటివ్ వీడియోస్ కోసం మీరు సబ్స్క్రైబ్ చేయండి, లైక్ చేయండి, షేర్ చేయండి అండ్ బెల్ ఐకాన్ ప్రెస్ చేయండి. మీరు ఇచ్చే కామెంట్స్ మాకు చాలా ఎంత వాల్యుబుల్ అనమాట. మీరు కామెంట్స్ కూడా మీరు యాడ్ చేయండి. ఓకే, థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్.